might take a little while. If you can also just turn your mobiles to silent, we'd appreciate that as well. Okay. Everybody can see? Welcome everyone to the Merrill Sleepout 2025. I'd like to commence with the acknowledgement of country. The City of Canterbury-Bankstown acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land, water and skies of Canterbury-Bankstown, the Darug people. We recognise and respect Darug cultural heritage, beliefs and relationships with the land. We acknowledge the First People's continuing importance to our Canterbury-Bankstown community. Once again, as you probably may or may be aware, this is the third year that we are running the Sleepout. And as of today, for this year alone, we have raised over $35,000. Big round of applause. And the great thing is that we have the registrations open for donations for another 2 more weeks. So if you want to push that along and let your networks know that it's still open for another 2 more weeks. So the purpose of this event is not only to raise money for our wonderful 3 charities. We've got the Maronites, we've got the Brothers in Need and Mission Australia, but also to raise awareness of the homelessness in the city area. And that's really, really important. Following our Mayor's speech tonight, we have wonderful representatives, Crime Prevention Officer who's going to be speaking tonight, the representatives of the 3 charities, and also we have a very special guest. We have a musician who's great, who'll be speaking about his very powerful story. So, to welcome our wonderful Mayor Councillor Bilal Hayek to centre stage, big round of applause.
Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. Maybe not. Okay. Can I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, pay my respect to elders, both past, present, emerging. As mentioned, this is our 3rd year. This is our 3rd year, and it keeps getting bigger and better. Tonight, we have almost 50 people sleeping out. This is the highest in our 3rd year, since year 1. This is the highest amount of sleepers. So I want to thank firstly each and everyone that's sleeping out tonight. And we all know why we're here tonight. Tonight is about 2 things. Firstly, creating awareness about homelessness. Well, Canterbury-Bankstown, believe it or not, has the 2nd highest number of homelessness in the state, behind the city of Sydney. Behind the city of Sydney. On any given night, something like 2,700 people in Canterbury-Bankstown are sleeping rough. 2,700 people. We had a choice, either just let it go, but each and every one of you decided to do something about it. So tonight is about creating awareness, number 1. Number 2 is fundraising to 3 wonderful charities in Mission Australia. And I thank Si and the whole team for being here tonight. Mission, we've partnered with them since day 1. And I think first year we raised 30 grand. That went to the home in Greenacre. Is that right, Si? Yeah. To their home in Greenacre, supporting young people there. And I actually went myself and visited their house on multiple occasions. Last year was our 2nd year. We decided to partner with Mission Australia, Maronites on Mission, and Brothers in Need. 3 wonderful charities that do a lot in this space. They do a lot in this space. I've actually been out on multiple occasions with both Maronites on Mission and brothers in need. And I've seen firsthand the wonderful work they do, whether it's feeding the homeless, whether it's providing blankets during winter or sleeping bags during winter. I've seen it all. So I want to thank these charities for their support. I also want to thank, of course, Wiley and the team at Canterbury-Bankstown Chamber of Commerce. Can I also acknowledge the councillors that are here tonight? I see Councillor Blood, Councillor Wasaman and Councillor Walther. And I do want to single out Councillor Walther because she had left her baby at home to be here tonight. So thank you, Jen. We tried to talk her out of it, but she's adamant to be here, so thank you so much for being here tonight. And let's not forget the best club in the country. I see Tigers fans in front of me. You're a Tigers fan, are you? Glad. He's the only one that didn't text me last weekend. Of all of my Tigers fans, friends. But the best club in the country, the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs, who are our partners in this event. Things like this don't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. Also want to give a big shout out to our team, the staff, Sonia and all of you. It's not easy to make things like tonight just happen. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of ideas that we don't have to always agree on. But guess what? We're here. We're here. We're here for that wonderful cause. And as mentioned, so far, we're at 35 grand. So my goal is that we leave tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock with 40 grand. How hard is that? I think it's very easy. So I'm going to ask tonight, this is a challenge to each and every one of you. Each and every one, that you take a photo, you post it on your social media, you post the link, and tell people we're $5,000 short. And the mayor said we can't go home till we get that money. Even if we have to stay here for the next 3 days, okay, we cannot go home and we can't go watch the Bulldogs tomorrow night, which is an absolute, I can't not let that happen. So please take a photo tonight, post it on your social media, ask people to fundraise. I'll be doing more than one video posting on my social media. I promise you, you will never realise, and let me make this very clear, you will never realise the difference you're making. It cannot be measured. It cannot be measured. You'll never know the importance of your work because it can't be measured. But every dollar counts. Every dollar counts. Just remember, tonight is about experiencing what people aren't so privileged are experiencing. People don't choose to be homeless. People do not choose to be homeless. It's life circumstances, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's the cost of living, whether it's family circumstances, wherever it might be. Us, as someone who's from multicultural communities of Lebanese background, I can tell you, I know a lot of people that are sleeping rough in cars, in parks, with their kids. But guess what? They're too ashamed to talk about it. They're too ashamed to talk about it. So we need to encourage people that if you are struggling, you need someone to talk to, you need someone to support. There's many wonderful charities that are there to support. Before I wrap up, I want to again thank the staff, St. John's, again Mission Australia, Bankstown Sports Club, Michael, who's sleeping here tonight. I saw him last night at an event, but I haven't seen him for a while, so good to see you here tonight. The Brothers in Need, Maronites on Mission, Muslim Women Association, anyone else, the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs, and we had the women's team here earlier. They might just come up as well. Are they still here? They're gone? Probably gone. Gone, okay. They've got a game tomorrow night. But most importantly, the kids. It's good to see so many kids here, you know, supporting this important cause. Absolutely. Aisha, enjoying your burger there. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. On the behalf of the City of Canterbury-Bankstown, on behalf of every person that's going to receive that support, I say thank you. God bless you all. Stay warm. Stay warm. I don't know how you're going to do that, but please stay warm. And up the Bulldogs. Well done.
Thank you so much for your words tonight. Yes, I do. Anyway, you can still hear me. It's so hard to believe that. Thank you. So that's what happens being a short. And I do want to echo on what the Mayor has said, especially like everybody that's sleeping tonight. I have to take this off to you because, in particular, the kids. Like I've got 4 girls, and wow, I wouldn't be able to get my girls out here. So I mean, that's amazing. So a big round of applause to everybody again that's sleeping out tonight. Alright, so we'll just continue on with our speakers. We have a crime prevention talk. So I'll welcome to centre stage, yeah? Yeah. Kay Wu and Stephen Williamson from Canterbury-Bankstown Council.
Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Kay, and this is Steve, and we're both Community Safety and Crime Prevention Officers at Bankstown Council. And it's wonderful to be here tonight at the Mayor's Sleepout alongside with so many people who care deeply about supporting the vulnerable in our community. Homelessness, like the Mayor said, it is a complex issue, and every person experiencing it has a different story. For some, it's a temporary crisis, and for others, it's a long-term struggle shaped by things like DV, mental health, drug abuse, discrimination and financial hardship. According to Homelessness New South Wales, in our most recent census back in 2021, like the Mayor said, we had 2,700 individuals experiencing homelessness and around 3,700 who are marginally housed. And in Greater Western Sydney, LGA, we unfortunately had the highest figures in both categories, surpassing areas such as Cumberland, Blacktown, Fairfield and Liverpool. The data also shows that majority of those experiencing homelessness within our LGA are between the ages of 20 and 54, and young children and young people under the age of 19 makes up for 27.5% of those without a home. This is a sobering statistic and a clear indication that more work needs to be done to support our young people. The data also reveals that nearly half of the homeless individuals in our LGA were born overseas, reflecting the cultural diversity of our LGA, but also the unique challenges that the refugees and migrants face when accessing secure housing and support services. Council, on average, we receive around 2 flags per week from both the community and also our internal staff, like the rangers, parks and gardens, as well as the waste team. And when we receive those flags, we have a process of reaching out to our wonderful partners like Mission Australia, as well as Wesley Mission and Department of Communities and Justice. And what they do is they go out, they conduct outreach, they conduct outreaches and connect with the rough sleepers and build rapport and provide relevant support. And with their consent, additional services may enter, like health as well as housing support. We also keep an eye on areas where rough sleeping may be increasing, and if needed, more regular outreach is arranged, ensuring that people are engaged in a consistent and a respectful manner. In recent years, we've seen a sharp rise in the number of people sleeping rough across New South Wales, a reflection of a deepening housing crisis affecting so many in our communities. Since 2020, the median rents in Sydney has jumped by 45%, far outpacing wage growth and pushing more families into severe rental stress. Here in Western Sydney, this pressure is particularly intense. In Canterbury-Bankstown, households are now spending over 40% of their income on rent, well above what's considered affordable. Although government investment in social housing has increased, many in our community are still waiting for support as demand continues to outpace supply. It's clear that homelessness is a complex issue that requires a compassionate and coordinated approach from all of us. With that said, Steve will now share more about the different forms of homelessness and what council is actually doing to support those that are affected.
Thanks, Kay. Yeah, often when we think about homelessness, we think about people, begging on the street or sleeping in cars and things. But it's much more of a complex issue where a lot of youth are displaced because of domestic violence or because of for whole different reasons. They're couch surfing. So that makes up the majority of our home, and we don't really think about that too often. All these people who we don't have a place that is safe, secure and stable to call home, and many of our children escaping domestic violence or young people from houses to houses, night to night, and they're just couch surfing. Understanding the full picture of homelessness helps us break down the stereotypes and build greater empathy. And it reminds us of the homelessness is not just a personal failure, it's often the result of systematic barriers and circumstances outside personal control. To help with the community, council and our support networks, as Kay said, we receive on average at least 100 calls a year about rough sleepers. We do engage with our partners and try and help them. Most of these people, all they want is dignity. They don't choose to sleep, but all they want is just someone to say hello to sometimes. Don't pass them in the street and look down at them. Show a bit of dignity. It's not against the law to be homeless. In fact, we're bound by New South Wales government on homelessness, and like I said, it's not against the law to be homeless. So we're bound by regulations and systems in place to look after them. We know enforcement isn't the answer, and moving someone on to solve the issue, it's just shifting it from one space to another. Our focus is on connection, care and long-term support. Some people may choose to engage or seeking housing, and that's okay. And in other cases, most people don't want that help. Homelessness is something that any one group cannot fix, but all together we can fix it together. So thank you again for being here tonight and helping out and spreading awareness for this very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen and Kay. That was very informative. Now I'd like to invite Mission Australia. We have our area manager, Southwest Sydney, Tanya Golding, and our outreach program coordinator, Stephanie Wall.
Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to take a moment to also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, always was, always will be Australian Aboriginal land. So my name is Stephanie Waite. I am the Outreach Program Coordinator for Canterbury-Bankstown Youth Service. We are a service that runs with Mission Australia, and we specifically work with young people ages 15 to 25. I wanted to start it off with asking a few questions. So if you had nowhere to stay tonight, if you didn't have your home for whatever reason, would you have somewhere to stay with a family or a friend? If you couldn't stay with family and friends, would you still be able to figure out where you would stay? If you went into housing and asked for some temporary accommodation and they gave you 4 nights in a hotel, and in 4 days you had to go back to housing with 4 properties applied for and ask again for another 4 days, would you be able to pack all your things up, move them and take yourself to housing to do that, and then move again to a new temporary accommodation option? Unfortunately, that's the reality of our crisis accommodation in New South Wales. And the difficulty with that is that people are expected to apply for properties in order to prove why they need to access that support for temporary accommodation. We work with young people aged 15 to 25, most of which don't have any rental history. So if you are applying for a rental property, most of which are well out of your affordability, most of our clients have a maximum affordability of $350. And I can tell you now there's probably 4 properties on the market right now in Canterbury-Bankstown LGA that are actually within that limit. So there actually is not a lot of properties you can apply for. Once you have applied, you're competing with everybody else that's in the rental market. And if you don't have any tenancy history, where do you go from there? So between the last 18 to 24 months, the 49% of homeless young people were under the age of 24. We have to deal with figuring out where we're going to house them. We do have 2 refuges that we have that has 11 beds and some transitional accommodation, but that's only about 21 young people that are actually housed with us at any one time. So not to be all doom and gloom, but we do have a bit of a crisis on our hands.
Thanks, Steph. Thank you. Very short. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Now, I could throw a whole bunch of stats at you. I mean, you've heard a lot of statistics tonight that's very frightening, right? But what I'd rather do is just talk to you, because I don't think any of you would be surprised as to what those statistics say. So, you know, you may have realised we had a little bit of a virus a little while ago, COVID, for those of you who don't remember. So from that COVID, we now have an absolutely massive mental health crisis. Not surprised? Nobody's surprised. So then, something else that you might not be surprised about, we also have a huge homelessness issue in our country, thanks to COVID, and a whole bunch of other things that came together. In particular, the particular group that's affected by this is our youth. So, but what we need to do is what you amazing people are all doing here today, coming here and giving a voice to those young people. Mission Australia is very passionate about youth homelessness in particular. We were lucky enough to be the recipients of a donor, private funded donor, who gave us a bit of money to be able to set up our Reset for Youth team, working predominantly across southwest Sydney in youth homelessness. And what they're doing is trying to work around that early intervention space. We still have to work in crisis, because guess what? Crisis has a very loud voice, because people are in crisis. But what we need to do is also partner that with working in that early intervention space, talking to our young people, giving them skills, life skills, a direction, a job, not disengagement from school. That's what we need to be working in, that early intervention space, but also managing the crisis that we have. So I could stand here and talk to you all night, apologies, about the statistics, but what I'd rather do is have you hear from someone who lived it. Sorry. Technology. Also, you wouldn't be surprised at the statistics of the number of people who have technology issues when doing a presentation. BTW.
on a bridging visa, and I wasn't entitled to any government benefits and housing. couldn't get any financial help, but the Mission Australia CBYS team helped me get in contact with Rex, which I was able to get a lawyer to help me get my Australian permanent resident. Now I have graduated from high school, I started uni, and I have transitioned in one of the Mission Australian housing properties. Now I'm living independently, and I really appreciate the help and support I got in Mission Australia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have the privilege now of inviting Brothers in Need, Managing Director Dean Musad, to come and speak.
I am. Take this. Clip it on the jumper. Clip it on this.
Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you. How's everyone going? Good. That's good. Today's not about me, today's about all of you. So I want to allow us to give everyone here that's put a lot of great work into this a round of applause, please. Predominantly Canterbury-Bankstown Council. I know we just put a lot of pressure on them out the front. You know, there was a fair few people that didn't register, so thank you so much for everyone that dealt with that. Thank you, Cindy and co. Also, a round of applause for Bilal Hayek for the third year putting this together. Like one of the presenters mentioned before, it's great to see some of the youth here, right? So I know we've got Aisha, where are you? Aisha, hands up, Wafa, hands up. We've got three of the youth at the back as well. Round of applause for them too. And the two young boys there. Well done, boys, well done. So for us, really, the idea is that we've come together back in 2015. It's been a decade, so this year is our 10th year anniversary for the organisation Brothers in Need. Can I get a show of hands of the volunteers from Brothers in Need here today? Great, nice, well done. So they've put all the great work together in Sydney, in Brisbane, in Melbourne. Without the volunteers, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we do. As you can see here on the slide, I wanted to keep it very light. These are some of the programs that we run. So it's around homelessness, it's around visiting the sick. It's really about looking after Australians forgotten. So there's a lot of individuals in this category, whether it's in the hospital space, whether it's in the nursing home space, homeless communities, that our job is to go out there and just have a conversation, pay attention, give them give them our two pairs of ears, right, or our pair of ears, I should say. So really, we're blessed to be doing this kind of work. We'll go to the next slide if that's all right. Pretty pleased, Cindy. Thank you so much. That video doesn't work, so we'll scrap the video, right? I've been told that there's a yellow flag in the back, and if I see the yellow flag, I'm finished, right? So I've got to finish fast, right? We'll go through a quick quiz, right? So maybe just to break things up so it's not just me talking, we'll go by true or false. Giving charity in the Islamic faith is seen as a way to grow spiritual and purify one's wealth. Is that true or false? True, great. So for us, it's very important for us as Muslims to give back, to be on the forefront of giving back. And we love doing that. It's something that's embedded in our religion, and we love doing so. Next one, charity in Islam can be only given as money. True or false? False. So we also believe that even smiling is a form of charity. So for those people that don't have even $1 to give, they think, how can I give charity? Smiling in the face of your brothers and sisters of humanity is a charity. And also Islam encourages charity only for Muslims. True or false? False, that's correct. So for us, we're allowed to give money, we're allowed to give resources to those not just in the Muslim faith, but those outside of the Muslim faith. We'll just go to the next one, please, if that's okay, Cindy. Thank you. So once again, I don't want to bore you with this stuff. This stuff can be found on our website, but really the idea for us is when Bilal Hayek told us about tonight, it just made sense. For us, you know, we're obviously seeing some of the atrocities that are happening globally. This is like a 1% opportunity for us to be able to weather out the storm, you know, for half the night, and to really, at the very least, be grateful for the bounties that we've been given. You know, and I love this country. I was born in this country. For me, this country is home. You know, for me, any country that I go to, and I've been to a whole lot of countries, when I come back, I love Sydney. I love Sydney Airport. For me, it's home. So I know we're blessed. We've got a lot of great privileges that a lot of people don't have. So for me, I love to call this place home, and it's important for me to be able to do my very least alongside the team to be able to just share those resources that we've been given. Some of the partners that we work with. Can we also get a shout out for SES members? Hands. Thank you very much. So I believe there's about 3 to 6 SES members that are here tonight. One of our volunteers, Noor Saraya, he's from Brothers in Need, but also SES. He's brought him out here tonight. Well done, Noor. So really, it's great to see many different organisations coming together. If we go to the next slide, please, Cindy. These are some of the different non-for-profits that we work with, both in the Muslim space and non-Muslim space. And so for us, once again, like the saying goes, many hands make light work. And so we're blessed to be able to do that. Once again, I can start to see maybe, that the yellow flags are going to come out, so I'm going to wrap it up. But really, let's make the most out of tonight, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dean. It's always a pleasure to have our representatives speak here. And to end the representatives charity, we have Maronites on Mission. Board member Nicholas Canman, sorry. Don't know what his name.
So, there's probably 20 odd slides there, but I'm not going to go through more. I'm just going to keep our logo up there. Just, as I said, don't want to bore you guys with a whole heap of information. So, I'm Nick. Please don't call me Nicholas, otherwise I think it's my mum yelling at me. So Nick's fine. Maronites on Mission. We're a Maronite-based, Maronite Catholic-based organisation. Our primary location down in Punchbowl at St. Charbel's Maronite Catholic Church. But that doesn't stop us from moving around all of Sydney. So we're pretty much, wherever there's a Maronite church, we're there. We're there to support the people in the community, no matter who they are, whether they're Catholic or not. It's our mission to help out those in need. So we are humble beginnings where we started probably about 15 years ago. We had a group of missionaries go out to the Philippines and conduct a missionary out there to help those in need over in the Philippines. And from there, there's still some existing board members who were from that original, that missionary are still on the board. They've grown the organisation to where it's at today. We span across probably 8 churches all across Sydney, whether that's out in Mount Druitt, here in Punchbowl, out in Redfern. We're all over the shop. So we're there to help out those, as I said, help out those who are in need. We have many items that we provide people for. So we have our local food runs, whether that's in Parramatta, Camperdown, Woolloomooloo. We sometimes see the brothers in need and see them along in our Woolloomooloo visits as well. So we also help out people with who are struggling, and it's something that that's close to our hearts and helping those out in need. So we pretty much spot people who need that assistance. We provide food packages. As I said, whoever they are, we're there to help them out. So we also do a lot of international work, not only in the Philippines but in Lebanon as well. Obviously, we're Maronites. We're from Lebanon. It's our home country in a way. So there's a lot of work that we do with the people over there and helping those people out. I guess the main thing that I just want to get out is that it's all about faith at the end of the day. Just like the brothers in need and how they created their charity all around their faith. Same with us, through God's intercession, to really help out those and lend a hand where we can. I guess a fun fact about us, I'd say 98% of our workers are volunteers. We probably have about 3 employees within our organisation. The other 200 odd volunteers just help out as they can and when they can. So I guess that just shows the testament to everyone within the community that we deal with, and I guess the loving support that they want to do and provide to people, and especially those who I guess can't afford or who can't access that help. It's all about faith at the end of the day, and keeping that close relationship with God and being able to help out those people. That's where we are, and that's where our charity is based on. So yeah, I kept it short and sweet. Thank you so much to all the sponsors. Thank you to Bilal, Canterbury-Bankstown, the doggies, Up the Doggies, all the other charities, Mission Australia, Brothers in Need. Thank you to everybody. It's a great opportunity to be out here. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Nick, not Nicholas. And that was great hearing from all our representatives from the charities. And to conclude the night, I'd like to invite a wonderful musician over here, Joseph Truman, who's going to share a powerful story.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. Evening. It's an honour to be part of this event, and I'd like to thank everyone here and all the organisations for being part. I've been given the opportunity to share just a few minutes of my own life experience, and so I'll just time myself, otherwise I'll talk for hours. My name's Joe Truman. I was born in New Zealand and was ward of the state in New Zealand, which means social welfare. Myself and my twin sister. We had a Polynesian father who was deported back to the islands the day that we were born for overstaying in New Zealand, and a mother who had addiction and mental health issues. So we were given up to the state, and we were the poster children for social welfare in New Zealand in the 70s. And as we grew a little bit older, as I was coming up to my teens, I started to lean towards the gangs in New Zealand. So I was given an opportunity to come to Australia at 14 years of age to meet my birth mother for the first time. And so I took that opportunity. I was given a 2-week visa to come to Australia, and I landed in Sydney in 1986, and I wasn't picked up at the airport. That started me on a close to 24 years living on the streets of Australian cities. I lived in Northbridge in Perth, and I had a cocaine habit at 15. I spent a couple of years walking around the deserts in WA and Northern Territory. Crime, drugs, mental health, that followed me for a long time. I went to Darwin and I lived in the long grass in Darwin for about a year. I went to Alice Springs and I lived in the Todd River in Alice Springs with all the blackfellas that called me family, and because I was a half-caste kid from New Zealand, didn't feel like I belonged anywhere, and I thought this was a big adventure for me to come to Australia, but I progressively, all the mental health issues, alcoholism, drug use, abandonment issues, all the depression, anxiety, all these things caught up with me as I went from state to state. After Alice Springs, I ended up in Queensland. I went to Fortitude Valley in Brisbane, and I spent years living on the streets in Brisbane. I was in a gang in Brisbane for a little while, and I ended up living at the Ekka site, the old Expo site in Brisbane, which is now a little park that they've got in Brisbane. And I lived under the bridge in the city in Brisbane. And by the time I come to Sydney, was just about year 2000. Came to Sydney, and my last stretch living on the streets I was living in Woolloomooloo to start off with. We called it Kiwi Park, the back of King's Cross. I was living in Hyde Park for 7 years, down at St James Station on a piece of cardboard. And at this stage, I can tell you, life was catching up to me. I was a broken man. All the issues that I had, I'd spent time in 3 prisons in 3 different states. I'd been in mental institutions in every state. I'd been in jail in every state. And I still didn't realise there was an issue. I thought, for me, drinking and drugging was very much saving my life. I came to Australia with a guitar and a bag of clothes, and that saved me as well. But I can tell you what, after 24 years of living on the streets, of slipping through the gaps, I was very fortunate that kind people. Australia, we've got the best country in the world, right? Australia have very, very kind people, and they'll look out for people. But we need the narrative to continue. And like I said, my last stretch was in Hyde Park for 7 years, living on a piece of cardboard, and I was psychosis, in and out of psychosis, drinking and drugging, and schizophrenic, angry, alone, no family, no friends, and I was given help by St Vincent's Hospital, and they sent me to a detox, which sent me to a rehab, which helped me get into housing. And I've now been clean and sober for 12 years, coming on 12 years. Thank you very much. It's nothing I've done. It's people like yourselves which put themselves out there to help, And I have had experiences with a lot of the organisations here. Living on the streets of Sydney, I've had help. When I've needed it, saved my life. They saved my life. Through my sobriety, I've become a professional musician, and I'm now in 2 bands. I'm a wedding singer, and I'm very fortunate that I've been invited for a few years now to come to this event. And it was quite strange that I was getting hired for events to, represent or to, have the narrative about homelessness when I'd spent so many times on the street myself, 24 years. One day being homeless is very challenging. 1 week is, very tiring. 1 month can really sap your spirit out of you. 1 year can be soul destroying. 10 years, you lose all hope. And if there's not something outside of yourself to help you, it's very hard. And 24 years, I can tell you I was a broken man. All of you helped to put someone like me back together. And I'm very grateful that you're all doing this for keeping this narrative alive. And I've just done my 5 minutes. So I'm very grateful. I'm now a professional musician in Sydney. I have 3 agencies, 3 agents that all fight over my services. And I love my life today because I'm able to give back. I'm on a board for St Vincent's Hospital for homelessness and non-residents, just out there to try and get the government to, make this the greatest country by having empathy and, apathy for people who are down and out. Thanks for letting me share.
I'll jump in very quickly. What an absolute ripper of a story. Very, very inspiring. I hope he's definitely inspired me. So, team, get ready for next year. We're doing this again. But if you ever thought, why am I here tonight? This is it. This is the story. This is the story. You will never, as I mentioned earlier, you'll never know and realise how you're helping someone. Never. Whoever helped him doesn't know that. And remember, what goes around comes around, of course. We all have families. We all have a community. So please, please, please do as much as you can tonight. Because as I said earlier, every dollar counts. And it was remiss of me earlier as well not to thank one of the organisations, Ozara Media and Charbel, for being here tonight. I'll now hand back to Cindy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And yes, that was a very powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we only found out about this last year when he was here and we had a conversation. Not everybody tells you about the story. And I'm so glad that you said yes to coming here this year and sharing the story to these people. And I know that you're sharing your story around. So we are just about on time with everything, which is really good. So thank you for keeping it all short. And now, just to wrap it up, just a few things for everybody actually. There is food left outside that everybody can actually go grab a meal. Yeah. Do you want to come? Let's get Sonia.
Yeah. So there's quite a few burgers. So it's probably about 30 burgers. So anybody that hasn't had a burger, please, there might be one for you. You can certainly go and get it and go home and have a think about today. Yeah. For the sleepers, you've got a voucher. Please go and get some soup. Mm-hmm. Definitely make sure you're getting that. You've got a zippy cup. if you can take that, you can pretty much take the zippy cup and the soup anywhere. And they've got some really yummy little, I just had one, there was 3 of them. There's something and something, something. But anyway, you have to go and find out. So please, if you've got a voucher, go and do that. And for the people that don't have a voucher, please go down, get some food, have a quick chat, and disperse into the night. While our sleepers, you're going to be getting settled into the stadium. And at 10 o'clock, I'm turning those lights out. All right? That's my big task. So I want to get you settled. And if you've looked at the bomb, it's going to rain. So some of the gentlemen that are down on the concourse, you're going to have to move up top. So we'll work that out. But I really thank you all for coming. And myself and Anne-Marie are going to be here all night as well. So we'll come and have a chat.
And for the record, I snore a lot, so don't...
No complaints. Reminding you that there is security. We've got the gates closing at 10 o'clock and reopening at 5 a.m. But again, welcome to come down here for the sleepers. For the non-sleepers, thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here, and if you can spread the word. Next year we're doing it again. Don't know where yet, if it's here or is it, but wherever we're doing it, we are bringing everybody closer and creating that awareness. So thank you everybody for coming. A big round of applause to you.